Joe Rogan has never been shy about speaking his mind, and once again, his comments have sparked fresh debate online. As renewed attention surrounds Ghislaine Maxwell and ongoing public interest in Jeffrey Epstein's network, some internet users have begun revisiting old claims involving a number of high-profile celebrities, including EllenDeGeneres. Maxwell's legal team has continued pursuing efforts related to her conviction, fueling another wave of speculation across social media. But how much of what's circulating is actually supported by evidence, and how much is internet rumor? That's exactly what we're looking at today.
Always that suspicion when you see someone on television that they're not really that way, because there's been like Ellen, like the Ellen situation. You know, people found out that Ellen was mean, and all these people came out and said Ellen's actually a bitch, and everybody, whoa, I can't believe it. And she lost everything. She fell apart, disappeared, because people found out that this character that she was portraying in a half an hour on a television show is not really who she was. You know, but I hadn't already known that because I had a buddy who worked for her.
The release of court records connected to Jeffrey Epstein reignited countless discussions online. While many names appeared throughout various documents for different reasons, social media quickly began drawing its own conclusions. Among the names repeatedly discussed was EllenDeGeneres, leading some commentators to question whether there was more to the story than the public had previously known. Those claims remain heavily disputed, but they continue to fuel online speculation.
Her stories have changed so many times about what happens, when it happens, how it happens, with different versions, and each time she speaks there's a different.
Joe Rogan's criticism of Ellen wasn't centered on the Epstein case itself. Long before those documents became a major topic of conversation, he had publicly questioned the image Ellen presented to audiences. After allegations about workplace culture on her television show became public, many people look back at those earlier comments differently. Whether those observations reveal anything deeper is still open to interpretation, but they undeniably changed the conversation surrounding her public persona.
A lot of people saying that someone who seems so nice is not nice at all.
She doesn't seem nice, but that's people have a very poor judge of character. She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced. People that are like that all the time, she doesn't seem nice. It's very forced. And whatever, you're allowed to be a bitch, right? You're allowed to be a bitch. You're allowed to be nasty to people. You're accomplished. You're a comedian. You did the whole thing. What you're not allowed to do is have a Guantanamo Bay situation in the backstage of your show where everybody's walking around afraid for their life, and it's like Abu Ghraib where they're hooked up to wires and they
dogs
have like
around them.
Yeah, she's got dogs and hoods. If an intern's late, they have a hood on. I don't support that. That's just.
As online investigators continued examining publicly released Epstein-related records, attention shifted toward references that appeared throughout the documents. It's important to note that appearing in investigative materials does not by itself establish wrongdoing, yet every new filing seemed to generate another round of speculation. At the same time, Ghislaine Maxwell continued challenging aspects of her conviction, and reports about possible legal developments only intensified public interest. For many observers, the possibility that additional information could someday become public has kept these discussions alive.
Reveal EllenDeGeneres as, and I'm quoting this directly from the posts, Hollywood's most prolific that she consumed human flesh. EllenDeGeneres is named in the Epstein documents, and that part is real. Her name appears in the broader index of over 300 high-profile individuals that show up across the investigative materials. You know, flight logs, communications, third-party interviews, peripheral records.
And so if I do, I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza if I... Jennifer? Yes? Harrison? Yes? Yes? All right. Too large? What do you think? I'm going to order some pizza.
The speculation didn't stop with court records. Some viewers began revisiting old television interviews and comedy segments featuring Ellen, arguing that certain clips took on a different meaning in hindsight. Others strongly disagreed, pointing out that comedic exchanges are often taken out of context years later. Regardless of where people stand, those resurfaced interviews have become part of the broader online debate.
Talk about this facial that you're obsessed with. How many, did you get the whole cast of Ocean's 8 to do this?
Not everybody.
Okay. Good, smart ones.
Just those that I thought would appreciate it.
Okay, explain what it is.
Well, it's this way in which one forces through microneedling. It's like a little roller with these. Some of you, I think many of you know it. And it pushes through the skin and ruptures the collagen, and then boosts it. You look like a burn victim for a day, but then it pushes. The
what are you pushing into the skin, Sandra?
Sarah?
Carrie? What are you pushing into the skin?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from
Public reporting over the years has revealed details about Epstein's relationships with various professionals, including medical personnel, prompting renewed scrutiny of his wider network. As more reporting emerged, internet discussions expanded far beyond the original criminal case, with numerous theories developing alongside verified reporting.
It's half you're not going to get organ rejection. That's what Epstein was actually, one of his main businesses along with Peter Nygaard. Oh yeah, it's much worse than just, 14-year-old, 15-year-old girls. They want you to just stay in that area and never get down the rabbit hole. That's the entrance to the rabbit hole, is 14, 15-year-old girls. No. Down in the rabbit hole is women getting pregnant with the man's own baby so it doesn't get genetically rejected. Central African women, because they have dominant genes and the stem cells are about 100 times better. Just a fact for health effects. And then the woman has an abortion at 8 months. They suck the baby dry of its bone marrow, its blood, and in multiple transfusions, put it into the rich old men and rich old women. And that's what Peter Nygaard, that's public, by the way, and not public, Epstein did, though it's leaked. He was into cloning and hundreds of babies of his own and underground medical facilities at Zorro Ranch, and all these medical chairs, all this. Oh, yeah, that's what.
The story then takes another controversial turn. Following the end of Ellen's daytime show, some online commentators pointed to a series of unrelated tragedies involving people connected to her and questioned whether there was any broader significance. No evidence has established a connection between those events and the claims circulating online, but the timing has continued to generate discussion among internet communities.
This is a photo taken in Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan townhouse. It seems to show a doctor performing a medical procedure on Mr. Epstein's dining room table. We looked through about 15,000 records from the Epstein files to understand how Jeffrey Epstein cultivated and rewarded a small circle of doctors as a means of control over the women in his orbit. Mr. Epstein dictated when these women got plastic surgery, even when they went to the gynecologist. And he could also take medical care away. In some cases, you also see the doctors help Jeffrey Epstein maintain that control over these women's lives. Here's one really striking example. Jeffrey Epstein is flying back from his island in the Virgin Islands to New York with a young woman who has suffered a really serious injury. He reaches out to somebody named Eva Dubin, former girlfriend of his, and the founder of the Dubin Breast Center at Mount Sinai. And he says, this woman fell off the ATV and needs stitches in her forehead. Can you organize? She responds, okay, Jess Ting, a plastic surgeon at Mount Sinai, is standing by. Call me as soon as you land. And then you see the next day from Jeffrey Epstein, Dr. Ting put 35 stitches in her head, laid out.
The death of Stephen Twitch Boss added another deeply emotional chapter to those conversations. His passing shocked fans around the world, and many theories quickly appeared online attempting to explain it. While speculation spread rapidly across social media, officials have not linked his death to the broader allegations discussed in this video. Even so, many online communities continue revisiting the timeline whenever Ellen's name returns to the headlines.
Understanding how human trafficking really works. You can make a difference in the life of someone at risk.
Ambulance, that's some sort of sign, but yes. So basically the activity that we were looking for, that anxious or that quick moving, that was going on the other side of the vehicle. Oh my gosh, he's completely alive.
What the hell?
In May 2002, the EllenDeGeneres show was canceled, and then 2 months later, Anne Hesh, Ellen's ex-girlfriend, was in a really bad car accident where she flew her Mini Cooper into someone's house and it caught fire. And what has never sat right with me is the cross comparison between the coroner's report and the actual aerial footage. The coroner's report says that she was unconscious until her death, after just from smoke inhalation and from being brain dead from the fumes in her brain. But if you look at the footage, she sits straight up, and that takes a conscious effort, I feel, but I'm not a scientist. I mean, I'm not a doctor. But the other thing is her other host, her co-host Twitch, died 4 months after that. And I just think that that's a suspicious amount of close people around you dying.
Around the same period, Ellen announced she was relocating to the United Kingdom, a decision widely reported in the media. Independently, developments involving Ghislaine Maxwell also attracted significant attention, leading some internet commentators to connect the timing of the two stories. No evidence has established that the events were related, but the overlap became another major topic of online speculation.
Learning more tonight about the tragic side of Stephen Twitch Boss and the detailed steps he took to hide his plans. TMZ is reporting when Twitch left his home the day before his He took an Uber to a motel about a mile away. At the motel, he switched his phone to airplane mode so no one could reach him. The motel manager says he checked in under his own name and never left his room. We also now know that Twitch left a suicide note. Details have not been made public, but TMZ reports the note alluded to challenges Twitch had faced in the past. Entertainer Tyler Perry knows firsthand what that is like.
I want to take you back to a time in my life where I tried to commit suicide a couple of times because it was so dark. I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is stay in my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part of my life.
Reports about Maxwell's prison conditions generated headlines of their own. Media coverage described claims regarding her treatment while incarcerated, while prison officials maintained that any accommodations reflected security considerations rather than preferential treatment. Those reports only added another layer to an already highly scrutinized case.
Really bad. If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
There is no dispute that Ghislaine Maxwell played a central role in Jeffrey Epstein's criminal enterprise, and investigators have spent years examining the people who interacted with that network. As those investigations continue to be discussed publicly, many people wonder whether additional information could eventually emerge. Others caution against assuming guilt based solely on association or online speculation. The broader conversation also continues to raise questions about exploitation and abuse within parts of the entertainment industry.
Ghislaine Maxwell has been getting special treatment inside of a minimum security prison in Texas, where she's currently serving 20 years for child trafficking. Sources who are familiar with Maxwell's life inside prison tell us that she has unlimited access to toilet paper, for example. The typical inmate gets just 2 rolls per week. At one point, she was getting her meals and mail delivered to her cell. She's also been allowed to use the chaplain's office inside the chapel for guests visiting outside of visitation hours. And Maxwell's arrival at this prison has really had a chilling effect on the other inmates there. We're told that the warden at the prison had a town hall where she basically told all the inmates, do not talk about Maxwell. And one inmate who did talk to a reporter was reprimanded and sent out of Bryan to a higher security prison. And we are told that this kind of thing has happened to several other inmates. The Bureau of Prisons tells CNN that this is not special treatment, but necessary treatment, given how high profile Maxwell is and the threats that have been made to
Joe Rogan has often argued that celebrity culture can create environments where powerful people become insulated from criticism. His broader point has consistently been about how fame can influence behavior behind the scenes, regardless of who the celebrity may be. Those comments have resonated with audiences long after they were first made because they speak to concerns extending beyond any single individual.
An arrogance that some stars had, like particularly in the 90s. When I first came to Hollywood, and this was like really evident for me because I was not a star, but I was on a television show. So I got to be around a lot of stars. And there was a way that some of them would treat you. They would let you know that you are subhuman. You are below them. They would communicate with you in the most disrespectful and dismissive ways. Like weird. Like mousy guys that I could kill.
Right.
Like instantly. And they would just be rude to you in a really weird way because they had power. They had power, and then when an executive would come over, they would turn on the charm. They'd be smiling and laughing, and then you would talk to them at the craft service, and they would fucking dismiss you in the shit ways. I encountered a bunch of that.
Yeah.
It was commonplace, and it was, I think, a thing that they aspired to, especially a lot of the guys that came from Saturday Night Live.
Public controversies surrounding Ellen have accumulated over several years, from criticism of workplace culture to debates over past on-air moments that continue resurfacing online. Those events have shaped how many people now view her career. At the same time, discussions surrounding Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell remain among the most closely watched stories involving powerful public figures, ensuring that online speculation is unlikely to disappear anytime soon.
26, and she was the very first victim to officially report Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell to the authorities. But in a pattern that would be set in the decades ahead, her complaint was ignored.
They just kept it all quiet, put it in the bottom drawer. And they were so dismissive that I just felt daunted and I stopped.
But by going to police, Maria felt the full force of Maxwell's fury. Terrified, Maria went into hiding and gave up her art career. What sort of threats has she made against you?
Originally, it started with things like, I'm gonna burn your art, and then I'm gonna burn your career, and then I'm gonna burn you and the house you live in. And then it was, oh, be careful crossing a street. You know, you can get shot in the back of the head. You know, they were threats against my life. And I told the FBI this.
Do you reflect on how different life would be for so many women today if the FBI had investigated your complaints in 1996?
Yeah. I think about it all the time. I do. And it hurts a lot. And I never had children because of it. Because I didn't feel like they would be safe.